Hey everybody, and this is Meka here, bringing you another game of StarCraft 2. This is going to be on GSL Legacy of the Void. Making this video actually as a response to Husky's video on GSL Terminus, where he talked about how just how StarCraft's going to change with the introduction of all these new maps that GSL's bringing out, and hopefully they'll influence Blizzard to make better maps. Well, that's what I'm hoping for. I think Husky is also, because the maps that we have now, the current map pool with like Selnaga Cavern, Steps of War, Delta Quadrant, and all the other ones, they're getting boring. It's all the same games over and over again, and it's really time for some new maps, some bigger maps, some more competitive maps. I feel like all the 1v1 maps that Blizzard released initially were kind of just like a precursor to the actual maps that were going to come out, because they were kind of like 1v1 small maps. They kind of made it so that certain builds became extremely powerful and there wasn't much variation, and ultimately that leads to boring games, and who wants that? So these GSL maps should really just churn up some really new strategies that are very good and very strong, very different from what we normally see. And so the player I'm playing against right now is HUanystakes. He's a master level Terran player. Currently looking like he's just going standard. Barracks almost finished. Over in my base, I'm also just getting the standard gateway up. I have a gas, and I'm going to be dropping my cyber now. So, actually, recently I got permission from YouTube to load longer than 15-minute segments on my videos. So it's going to allow me to cast longer games, and another great thing about these GSL maps is they provide for quite long games if you can survive long enough, because of how many expansions there are and just the size of the maps. It makes for less aggression, more teching up, more like huge massive 150 like supply army battles, instead of the smaller micro scale battles that you see a lot in very aggressive maps like Blistering Sands or Steps of War. HUanystakes has his SCV patrolling my base. He's getting good scouting off. I can't really do much about it. My stalker isn't out yet. Maybe my zealot can get it, but I'm trying to keep my zealot in position on the ramp, because if he tries to get out, I hope to at least hit once. So I'm dropping my pylon. I am currently supply blocked. Well, not yet, but very soon. That's bad. Of course, HUanystakes going for quick factory. He is not supply blocked. This is why he's master, and I'm stuck in diamond. I feel like every time a new league comes out, I'm perpetually stuck in it, at least for a good while, kind of like a prison sentence. Obviously it's my own fault for not winning, but StarCraft's a brutal game, what can I say? You play, you win, and you learn. He's going for a very quick expansion. I just moved out with my Stalker and my Zealot for a little bit of early aggression, because I had seen that he hadn't walled off. Lost my Stalker stupidly there attacking the command center. In hindsight, I probably would have killed that SCV right away and just kind of harassed it and delayed it. But what can you do? Hindsight is 2020. I was hoping for more of a reaction from this pylon. I didn't really get it. So my cheesiness didn't really pay off. I have my 3-gate with a robo coming up now. Warp gate is complete. My base is relatively naked, but I know he's not really in an aggressive stance right now. I know he's going for that quick expansion, and looking in his base, we can see he's throwing down a bunker. He's looking to sit in his base and tech up. Starport going up now in his supply block. If we go over to my base, I decided to throw down Nexus myself because I saw him expanding and I wanted to keep even on the bases. Getting my first observer out quickly. That's one thing Protoss has to have. Now that these maps are bigger, you require a bit more observer information and coverage. You want to maybe get one more observer than you usually would get because of just the sheer size of the map. And because of the size of the map, when you're playing against Terran, you have to expect things like drops and Banshee, and you want to be able to spot those before they even get to your base, because earlier on you can get your stalkers ready, have an observer ready, or later on when you're more teched out and you're also on 3 base, or it's a bit later in the game, you can get Templars in for a drop or for a Banshee with I don't know, 2 stalkers, and you can totally nuke all their mana instantly and sometimes kill them right away. Or you'll have the stalkers for reinforcement right there, and you put those units into your army and you just move on and you have that scouting information. Not really talking much about the game. I have my expansion saturated. I don't have my gas up yet. Not too much sitting in my base, but I'm getting an Immortal out. I've been preferring Immortal use lately. I'm trying to stay away from Colossus. It's kind of like taboo. I'm very tired of the Colossus. It's a very good unit. It's amazing. But against Terran, it's not absolutely necessary. Mind you, when the late game approaches, I find all units are fair game. A good mix of everything is my cookie cutter build, I would say. I would much prefer having a bit of everything so that I can micro them well and optimize their ability to do whatever they do well. Force fields aren't only good for the first 15 minutes of the game. They're still good 30 minutes in. Mind you, you might be more inclined to spend that gas on, say, a Templar or a Void Ray or a Colossus or whatever, but they're still useful to have in small numbers because mana stacks, and you just allow it to grow over a period of time, and I don't know, every sentry is 4 force fields. Not much aggression. I pushed out earlier on, didn't really make anything happen, and I think because of that he decided he had an economic advantage. He didn't want to push out, he wanted to just tech up, get an economy, and get some unit producing buildings out. So, looking at this map, we can see it's very different from just a standard Blizzard map that we've been seeing. It's very big. And I really like the way that the middle watchtower is actually in a section of the map that can't be crossed. You can activate it from either side. It's really interesting how they did that, because just seeing it like this, I can imagine scenarios where you can score free kills on either race just by overpowering whatever units they have on the other side instantly, and then you have that coverage. And not only do you have that coverage, but you have a buffer zone where even if there's a mass coming at you, you can get away because you have that wall. So HUanystakes is pushing out with his Raven. Let's see what happens with that. I have Dark Templar out. I actually went the 5-gate Robo build, focusing on getting some Immortals out, heavy on Zealot. Made sure to keep my gateway units upgraded. Lately I've actually been preferring this sort of build where you get a lot of gateway units and some Immortals. You have your observer coverage. Oh, and he's dropping auto turrets in my line. No reaction. This is awesome. Well, after those auto turrets got 10 kills, my probes moved out. Alright, so I decided to warp in 5 stalkers to take this thing out. Had I reacted quicker, probably wouldn't have lost anything. I could have microed that stalker back. I had tried, but he was blocked in hopelessly. Blink coming up. Also dropping a Templar archive. This base has completely stopped mining. For the cost of a Raven, I think I'd be very happy right now. HUanystakes right now is sitting very strong with a lot of tanks, 6 tanks, about 13, oh not about, 13 Marines, a medevac, a couple Marauders, and it's looking like he's gonna push out. He's pulling the SCVs. Oh, no, not pushing out. Oh, he's floating a command center over here. Oh, and my Zealot comes just in time to scout this 3rd. Alright, so right now I'm aware that he has the 3rd expansion. Mine is already up. And not much is going on in the bases. I think right now we're both looking to take an expansion. We had a little bit of an exchange before and not much really happened other than him abusing me and me having slow reaction speed. More Immortals coming out. Already have 3, it's going to be up to 4, and I'm starting to get Templars out onto the field. I actually really like using Dark Templars with charge lots, because charge lots, even if they have a scan going, they're going to focus on the Zealots first. There's just like something in the UI. Like you'll get the Dark Templars into their line, and when it's something like a Marine Marauder ball, they're just so squishy that if you have like, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds worth of skirmishing done with your Dark Templars, they're gonna rack up kills and they're gonna like plow through that ground army, and I love it, especially when there's no detector. If there's no detector, it's done. You can just run away all the time. You run away and you leave your Dark Templars on them like attack dogs, and it's over, because they ain't gonna touch your army. They have to go through 45 damage a hit and more if you upgrade. So finally, no, not even. I thought I was gonna push out, but I guess I didn't. I think I was playing more macro heavy this game. I wanted to really get a firm grip on the game. The map was very big. It was the first actual GSL map that I had a chance to play. I did get a chance to play other ones. I played Terminus and Crevasse now. They're very good. Oh, and here comes an attack. The siege tanks get annihilated. I don't know if I agree with his placement, but what it resulted in is the immediate death of all the siege tanks. But his Marine Marauder ball is actually picking up quite well, killing off my guys. And I'm just pulling back. And I send in my Dark Templars alone to take the brunt of the damage, and you get to see really what I mean by the skirmishing power of a Dark Templar. They just don't want to stand there. They have no choice but to move, and if they don't move, they just get plowed down. And I lost a few minerals and gas worth of units, but the way I see it is I'm Protoss. These are my expensive, annoying support units that are relatively handicapped in one way or another. The Stalker being obsolete against the Marauder totally, the Mortals being ridiculously slow and totally countered by the Marines. Like, my bread and butter is really these Zealots and Dark Templars that compose my melee line, where once I have that line settled, my ranged units can push, because I'm not focusing on getting closest, where there's pretty much, you have the ball, you have the closest, and you just kind of use the ball to buffer the Colossus, and the Colossus are kind of like your siege tanks, where here it's more your Stalkers and Immortals are your siege tanks, if that makes any sense. Not really, but I'm pushing in here on his 3rd. I don't want him to get ahead of me on his economy. Oh, am I gonna get it? It looks like it's going down faster than he can repair it, so not good news for him. The space goes down. Lots of SCVs falling, lots of economic damage going. If we look at the harvester count, he currently has 45, I have 56. But if we look at the mineral harvesting section, we can see I'm almost twice that, and same thing really goes for gas. So it's not looking too good for him right now. He's not in a position that that he can really just sit there and do nothing. I find he should have maybe pushed out, tried to take out my expansion a bit earlier. He knew it was there, but nothing really came of it. I'm already pretty much reinforced. I could probably take another attack with 3 Storms and 3 Dark Templars microed well. Always keep up with the gateway production when you're playing Protoss. As the game goes on, you probably want to tack on maybe 2 or 3 more gateways per Nexus, assuming that you're going something relatively light when it comes to like the Robo or the Stargate. Oh, and there's an attack coming on here. He's actually walled in himself into the corner. Perfect circle for my Storms to totally ravage his whole army. These tanks are sieging way too late, and right now he should just be happy that I have absolutely no Stalker. Too gas heavy on my Templars. But I have Archons on the field now. One of them's an Instructor. And so I'm going for my 4th base right now. I feel since I took out his 3rd, I have an economic advantage. He just probably has it rebuilt by now, but if I'm going for my 4th, he's definitely not going for his 4th, so I figure I just keep moving on ahead. I have enough gateways to just keep pumping reinforcements. I'm actually sitting at 1,000, but it actually isn't that bad considering I have 10 gateways, and when you have 10 gateways you can spawn well over 1,000 minerals worth of an army in like a second, so it's not so bad. Oh, and he pushes out and he gets this expansion. This expansion has no chance of being defended. My army's well across the map. And it's another thing that's interesting about these new GSL maps is they're so big, and the positioning of your army is that much more key, because if you want to respond to these sort of pushes, you need to be in the right place at the right time, because there was absolutely no way that I could even get to this base before it all got destroyed. And that just goes to show maybe my positioning wasn't the best at that time. Maybe I could have been more around the middle, around here. It's hard to tell. The way the map is, it's kind of a pain. Maybe this could have settled right here, near the Jalnaga Tower. I'm not sure. But I started going closest. I still have a very heavy Zealot Stalker army, accompanied by some Templars. I actually don't know why I destroyed these rocks. I had no intention of going there. I mean, I just got my 4th. I think I was just waiting for these closest to come. And I bet all you Terran players are pretty pissed off. I haven't really been looking at Terran all game long. But he's just over here. He has his 3rd established again, just like he did before. This time he's, spicing it up with a sensor tower. It's a little bit different for you. But he's in a good place. His natural and main are defended. He has tanks up, and his bio ball, which is very mobile, is, I don't know, a stem away from his expansion. He's not very far at all. But with his medevac, well, he doesn't. He has 1 medevac. I actually said it right. And with 1 13 mana medevac, he actually can't really afford to stem. So maybe it is a bit far away. HUanystakes going for a push, and there's really just nothing you can do at this point. Because of the mix of units that I have going, and his lack of economy because of constant abuse on his 3rd, he wasn't really able to kill me in time for me to just out macro him pretty much. There's a lot of probes over here. And in the income tab we can see I'm almost 30 ahead. And because I killed his 3rd, I'm figuring right now I can really just pull back to my base and sit and just max my army out. because there's no reason for me to push in on his fortified base at this point. At this point, he needs to push out on me or he loses. So here comes the push. It's definitely an all-in one, but he lost a lot of his SCVs right away. Here it comes. Zealots rushing in, taking out the tanks instantly. And with Storm and Colossus support, this army can only really run. Doesn't have any scan going down to get rid of the Dark Templar, so the Dark Templar really are just clearing waves, strikes at a time. 4, 2, and HUanystakes asks for a rematch. I actually do rematch him, and we play sometimes. He's a really good Terran player. So that was my game on a GSL map. I hope you guys liked it. Quite a long game, but I really wanted to post a game that was longer than 15 minutes as soon as I had that privilege on YouTube, because, well, I love posting StarCraft videos and it's a pain in the ass to make them all into different little parts. So anyways, guys, see you guys later, and I can't wait for Blizzard to release some new maps for us to play. Bye bye.